and welcome to another episode of the ToyGurlz podcast where we talk everything toys. My name is Erin, and I'm joined today by Lean, Yez, and Desi. ToyGurlz, assemble. So, today we're going to start off with a deep dive into nostalgia. We're going to kick it off by reminiscing about some of the toys we had and loved, as well as some of the toys we wanted but never got. So, to start that off, I'm going to call on Lean. What were some of your favorite toys as a kid?
Hey guys. Sorry, Lean couldn't be here, so I'm just stepping in. It's Chris.
Thanks for joining us, Chris.
Hey, like my new
It's great
hat.
to have some boys in the background to help out with
Yeah.
stuff with us
Yeah, I
girls on
totally
the
sold all of
screen.
my XO6s and I really got into Gem and Sailor Moon real hard.
Makes sense. Totally.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Well, ow, that hurt. Well, let's see. Toys I loved. Do you guys remember this? Popples?
Oh,
Like from the
No.
late 80s. Oh,
I
this
remember the
was my
commercials for
favorite.
them.
Yes, right. I never watched the cartoon, but this one was my favorite. And it's like a little marsupial bear thing that goes into its little pocket.
Oh, now it's familiar. Once you
Yeah,
pouched, yeah.
so
Then it,
cute. So I just found this in my stuff and I just had to show it off. It's my little baby. So
So what was it called? A bopple?
Popple,
Popple.
Popple. Yeah.
P-P-L-E. Okay.
Yeah. So these guys. And when I was little, my brother introduced me to Gem when I was like 3 years old. And he had one of the dolls in his like vast 80s collection. And I would play with it. And I totally lost pieces of the clothing along the way. And I don't know what happened to that doll. But like in high school, I decided I was gonna start from scratch and start collecting. And this is everyone I got so far. So love the Gem and
Oh,
holograms.
I'm assuming Gem is in there.
Right here in the middle.
Ah,
But
okay.
yeah,
Got
the
it.
light's kind of blurring her a bit.
beautiful.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
so cool. Is there a tiny little Gem? What is that like box
This
up there?
this one right
Yeah.
here. Let me see. Pull it out. Ugh. Wait, wrong door. Okay. I got this
Oh my goodness.
and it's a teeny little pizzazz. And I love this because the box design is just like it was in the 80s. It says it's made by Reaction.
Okay.
Super cute. I can't bear to take it out of the box, so it hangs
Oh
out
yeah.
a big pizzazz in the case. So yeah. Oh,
It's awesome.
yeah. How about you guys?
Well, I have a long list. I mean, I think I'm gonna hold off because I've got some boxes over here I'm gonna pull up and take things out of. Yes, I know you had some interesting experiences with some toys as a kid, including a guinea pig or a hamster, maybe.
Yeah, so I had a Barbie car. So anyway, I had the top off and I would put my guinea pig in there, and I would tie a string to the front of it and then I would pull her around. And you just, yeah, just up and down the apartment because we had a pretty big apartment for, as far as apartments go. So I would go from my room and go all the way down the hallway, all around the living room, into the kitchen, get her a snack of like lettuce or whatever, and then go back around. And we would just do this all the time. And it would drive my sister crazy. And I'm sure it drove my mom crazy, but she never let me know.
What was the pig's name?
That guinea pig, oh yeah, I had two. One was Squeaky and one was Cece. We didn't have them at the same time. When Squeaky died, but then we got Cece. So yeah, I would wake them up because I'd wake up like at the crack of dawn on Saturday mornings to watch cartoons. And before the cartoons would start, it'd be like the news or something. And NBC had like the peacock. I kept calling it a rooster though, and it would just be like the logo for a while up until the programming actually started. So I would be awake playing with my little Smurfs. That was my other favorite toy, the Smurfs. And then when I thought it was like a decent time to start making noise and going to the kitchen to get breakfast and stuff, then I would put Squeaky in the little car, and then we go room, room, room. So they just would hear like the little car just scraping against the tiles.
And the guinea pigs were okay with this? They didn't jump out?
No,
I loved
I never
it.
had a guinea pig. I guess
I never
they're kind of
knew the
chill
guinea
animals,
pig
aren't they?
wasn't obedient. Like these little things just did whatever I wanted with them. They were so cute. And so, yeah, I would just stick them in. They wouldn't jump out, no. And then they knew that, there was a snack coming. We'd go to the kitchen and they love lettuce. So I'd give them a little piece of lettuce. But my very, very, very favorite all-time toys were my Smurfs. And I had like those little plastic, little vinyl um Smurf figurines, and they had like 100 of them. They had so many, and they had like little sets too that you combine a box. And we'd buy them at Pick and Save, the predecessor to Big Lots, I guess. And yeah, I would wake up early in the morning and play with those. And most of my play involved the Smurfs. Because we had Barbies and I would play with them, but they were mostly my sister's domain. And to
Oh,
her older sister meant you got to play the role of the maid. So she'd make a mess and then I'd have to clean it up. That was how I got to play Barbies.
hmm.
Some of my favorite toys growing up, big time, I was into WWF. I don't, it's no longer WWF, WWE now, but World Wrestling Federation like was my thing when I was a kid. And I had wrestling action figures or toys. And I don't have any anymore, but I remember just like clamoring for these uh, little dolls. And my sister not into it, so it'd be like us in our neighborhood would pantomime like our favorite wrestlers without the dolls and with the dolls and like pretend to be our favorite wrestlers. Mine being the Heartbreak Kid and the Ultimate Warrior were my favorite wrestlers. So, and the Bushwhackers. So, those were my favorite wrestlers and my favorite toys were those little wrestling toys. And I also liked, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Star Bright Sparkle doll.
Oh, I
Never
have.
heard of that. I'm
Yeah.
curious.
So she was very frilly, but the thing about her is that she wore a crown, and the crown, you pressed a button, and it projected like a star field on the ceiling or whatever.
That sounds so familiar now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I loved, love, love, love her. She had beautiful black hair, beautiful black doll. And I remember our lights went out for like the power went off in our apartment complex for a good 24 hours. So my mom, had to get ready for work, had to leave early for work. She was a nurse, so she used my star bright doll as a flashlight. Like, but the projection would only last like what 10 seconds, and then she had to keep pressing this doll's like crown head to get dressed. So I just remember her being, it was like total darkness, and her like just being illuminated by this star field trying to get ready for work. So yeah. And also Cabbage Patches. We couldn't really afford getting or collecting a bunch, but my favorite was this little black baby Cabbage Patch, bald. If you remember the Cabbage Patches that when they were the baby ones were just bald and little weird buck teeth and dimples, and I named him Albert. I don't know why. I didn't know any Alberts. He just, I guess, looked like an Albert to me, which is like weird. Um, and he had a onesie, and I only had one outfit for him, so it would get washed, and it was like I kept him as pristine as I could. I kept Albert until I was in junior high, just because, like,
Wow.
yeah,
Nostalgia,
he was a great
right?
guy, yeah, and nostalgic.
Yeah. Hmm.
Those are my tops, but the wrestling one being my favorite, I think. And my mom said asked her about it. She said strawberry shortcake. I don't know if you remember strawberry shortcake, Kara.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Um, I she just recalls me wanting it. I couldn't have it, but strawberry shortcake was big on my desire list.
Yeah. I think I wanted strawberry shortcake too. I never had anything Well, you had a Cabbage Patch. Well, yes, you had a Cabbage Patch doll too, but that's not necessarily what you wanted.
Yeah, no, I wanted a My Child doll, and I don't remember who made them, but my cousin had one, and I thought they were so beautiful. They were like the best 1986 had to offer, and they had this really like soft skin. It was like a velour or something. And they had great big huge eyes, and their skin colors, they had more skin tones than Cabbage Patch dolls did. And then they had like real hair, not yarn. And so I really wanted one of those because my cousins looked just like her. And I went to the store once and saw all the different colors, and they had like a little Mexican one. And I was like, I want her so bad. So I told my sister I wanted a My Child doll. So my sister, at that point, we were living apart. We were living in Texas. That's a whole story. We were living with my aunt for a year. So my mom was back home, and she sent this huge box for Christmas, but there was a delay in the shipping, so it didn't get there in time for Christmas. It got there the day after, and you'll never orphans understand this feeling. Like there's no worse feeling than being used to having like a wonderful Christmas that your mom does for you every single year, and then not living with your mom, living in someone else's house and having them all open up their Christmas presents, and you're
Oh,
just feel like the poor leftover kid, like wah wah. Hello, Oliver Twist. So anyway, the day after we get this huge box, huge. And it had so many gifts for us, and we're like, yeah, this is what we're talking about. This is how our mom treats us. And our cousins got like two crappy gifts. We were like, ah. But anyway,
redemption.
open, yes, exactly. And actually, that was the time I got the bootleg Teddy Ruxpin as well. So I was like, cool. So we would stick in Bon Jovi tapes and Metallica tapes to the Teddy Ruxpin, the bootleg one. It still worked fine. And then I opened up the box, and my sister was like, oh, like making it seem like, oh my God, this is it. This is what you've been waiting for. So I'm all excited, open it up, and it's a Cabbage Patch doll. And I was like, oh, disappointed. But of course, I didn't want to show my disappointment. So I pretended that I was super happy. And I was happy, because I got other stuff that I liked, but I was just like, that's not the right one. But it was fine, and actually kept that doll. I had it forever and ever. And I'm pretty sure it's still here in this apartment packed up somewhere. I know my mom kept it. I think even after I moved out, like she still had it on her bed. And her name was Amber Michelle, and that was the name that she came with. We never changed it. So yeah,
Remember Michelle.
you did kind of
That's
sort
such a that's such an 80s name.
of, right? I
Michelle.
think we didn't
Yeah.
change it because my sister was like, "Oh, that's a cool name, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Whatever, Amber Michelle. That's what the card says. I'm not going to scratch it out and change it." So anyway, but yeah, so that's it. And I still think about that My Child doll. I
You never got one.
never got one, no, and that's fine.
Hmm.
That's fine.
Well, you still could, right? I mean, I think that's one of the best things about being an adult is you can collect the toys that you never had, as if you can find them, right? Obviously, it's hard to find them sometimes, but
Yeah,
I think one of the cool things that we experienced growing up that maybe was kind of new with toys is there was such a concerted effort to have toys that were, especially with, well, I don't know, I wasn't really paying as much to the boys' toys, but for girls' toys to have like different skin tones or to have like this sort of a much more diverse representation of either babies or adult toys or adult adult toys, adult um Barbies
Wait,
and stuff like
I
that.
am.
What? Ew. We're talking about collecting adults toys as adults. Um,
that's a
but yeah,
different
I feel like
concept.
that's kind of like when that started of like, oh, we should probably have dolls that actually represent the kids playing with them. Um, but Barbies was one of the things that I was going to talk about Barbies in particular. While I definitely collected some other things, I will get to that in a second. I still have quite a few of my Barbies. I have an entire box here that I have not gone through yet. So this is going to be a little bit like a what is
Unboxing
that called?
video.
Yeah,
Unbox.
an unboxing video slash
Show and tell.
um what, say it again?
Show and tell.
Show and tell. What is it when you like you bury something in the ground and then
Oh,
you
like
Oh,
a
take it
a
out
time
time
again?
capsule.
capsule.
Time
Thank
capsule. Thank you. Yes,
you.
this is going to be a bit of like a time capsule reveal here. So,
I'm
um,
glad that someone younger than me is also having problems recalling certain words.
you know what I mean.
Just my no
Um,
brain.
my mom packaged these years ago, I'm sure, because, as we've all experienced, your toy collection starts to diminish. The older you get, you start to throw stuff away or it gets lost. And then there's always the few that you or your parents keep for you. And then you don't really see them because they keep like moving them around in their house. And then it's not until you're an adult when they're like, get rid of all of this junk. You decide what to do with it. And so I have not gone through this box, but the first thing that I see in here was one of my prized possessions.
That
Yes, a
is
Barbie
so
bike.
cool.
Um, let's see here. It actually it has a little working kickstand. These don't actually do anything, which I think it'd be really cool if they did, but they're not actually connected to the wheels. I don't know where the seat was. It's probably in here somewhere. But yeah, this was one of my favorite things. There's even a tire pump in here that you can take out and refill the tires. But yes, the most beautiful pink and teal 90s style. And I'm pretty sure some of my Barbies have articulated limbs, so I was able to actually, pretend like they were riding a bike. So yes, I will never get rid of this. I feel like this is 90s gold right here.
And the color
Okay.
of the color scheme of that bike.
You what?
The color scheme of that bike. I just
Yeah. Okay, so the first one
was
I'm pulling out
this
here, this is a long-haired Ken. I'm not even sure what character this is in a beautiful dress.
okay, I was gonna say, I was like,
Fabio
is that
Ken.
a man?
It is. I actually have a few I have a few male dolls and dresses in here. It looks like I may have made this pearl necklace. It looks handmade. Um, I think this is an Aladdin jacket here, and there's really old pieces of clearly was like creating a ponytail here, and it's coming apart. Oh yeah, so here's the pants to my um Aladdin doll. Who is Jasmine? These are
They
my
look like
Jasmine pants.
Jasmine pants.
Yeah, I think they're Jasmine pants. Let's see, who else do I have in here? I have, oh, is this actually a Barbie? I'm not even sure if this is a knockoff. But I seem to have put a ring around her neck as a necklace.
Looks like a Skipper
Here,
doll, maybe?
maybe it's Skipper.
Hmm.
Yeah, in a cute little bathing suit. Oh, I think this is who came with the bike, actually. So I have done some extra, probably practicing to do this for myself. And oh no, her legs do not
My hair
move.
would brush it out.
Yeah, look at her crimped hair. So 90s.
I loved crimped hair. Can we
Oh,
bring back?
here's the Yes, can we bring back crimped hair? You know what? I think it is coming back. I think I saw an article about that. There we go. Now my bike has its seat on it. Here is another um
Oh.
gentleman being married to someone, I don't know who.
Aggressive, Aaron. I like it.
Yeah. I think this goes with the Jasmine outfit. I'm pretty sure. Here we go. Here we go. Here's my bike riding Barbie because her limbs they articulate so she can get on the bike.
Andy.
She's got her workout clothes on. Look at that. She's got Ken's workout clothes on. Oh my gosh. I forgot about so many of these. This is my Cinderella Barbie, and I purposely made her face dirty. This was Cinderella before she became the princess.
Like, you need to be legit. You need to really like just
Yeah.
actual ash
Oh
and
yeah. I'm pretty sure this was Belle,
Yeah.
right? Or is this
Looks
Cinderella?
like
I can't.
that looks like Belle, her reading
Yeah,
outfit.
okay. Okay. Oh my gosh. And so my favorite Disney princess was Ariel. So this was one of my
Oh,
prized Barbies. I love Jasmine too, but I loved the fact that she had an actual flipper, and then look, she has legs.
Yeah,
Oh my
my
gosh.
favorite princess was Ariel too, and I had a an Ariel doll, and you pulled the string on her back, and she sang or she said lines from the movie. I don't know if you guys heard of that Ariel doll.
Mm-mm.
It
Like,
sounds familiar. It sounds like something I would have wanted and couldn't get.
This is bringing back a memory because I know I had a mermaid doll too, but can't remember if it was a Barbie or not, or like a knockoff. But
Oh, here we go.
loved it.
Here we go. Oh yeah. Here's my
yes.
Jasmine. I must have had multiple Jasmine outfits, but this was one of my favorites.
It's so pretty.
I must have done this too. I don't think she came with a ribbon in her hair, but yes, absolutely loved that. And then I think I'm getting into like more of my like
I
ones I
had
probably
that one.
shouldn't have taken these out of the box, you know. But
So controversial take here. My opinion is that toys are meant to be played with. So, especially if you're a child, like it just seems cruel to be like, oh no, leave it in the box. Like, so you just get so much more joy out of playing with them. And yes,
yeah.
maybe having them in the box.
Yeah. I mean,
It
when I was
has,
a kid, yeah, I didn't think about not playing with my toys. You know, that concept of like keep it preserved, you get that more as an adult and that gets fed into you like, oh, you don't want to take it out of the box. It could be worth something someday, or you want to keep it pristine, and I'm just like, I didn't think about that until I wasn't like, an adult.
I
Yeah.
felt like if I had been forced to like, oh no, you can't play with that, then I wouldn't have cared about it. I never would have remembered it. Like oh yeah, I have an example of this. Porcelain dolls. So my mom was like super old. My mom was born in 1934 and lived in small town Mexico. And back then, like every little girl wanted a porcelain doll. Like that was just like creme de la creme, right? So she always bought me these porcelain dolls. And yeah, they were pretty, but I couldn't play with them because I didn't want to break them. So they would be there on a shelf in my room just as decoration, but I never played with them. I can't remember what they looked like. Like I derived no joy whatsoever. Probably my mom did, like buying them for me. She probably thought like it was like a really great gift, and that's fine. It was, I appreciate it, but it wasn't, it was not my childhood.
Yeah.
So for me personally, even if I had the like beautiful Barbies, but also I was the kind of kid that took care of my toys. So I would have taken it out of the box and played with the fuck out of that doll. Like I would have enjoyed it, so yeah, so that's why I say controversial take because I'm like, toys are meant to be played with. Like I was not thinking like a collector when I was 5 years old.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
Yeah.
so, so I'm,
No, I agree with that. It's funny because you can tell the Barbies that I got when I was older, I kept in boxes.
Mm.
yeah,
But
exactly.
these I clearly played with.
Yeah.
Here's Belle.
Cute.
Mhm.
Okay. Here's Cinderella. So I must have had like the pre becoming a princess and the post becoming a princess Barbies, basically, for the for all of these Disney princesses. Um, this one, I totally forgot about this. This was my favorite Jasmine because let's see if it still works. Dang it. I should replace the battery in this. So
Even
she has a button on her back, and when you pressed it, these gems would light up on her face, her earring, and this gem on her little headband. Once again, I put a ring around her neck. I probably was really excited to find a red jewel ring just so it would match this one. But yes,
isn't
this
that
was
the
one of my
version of her
favorites.
that like seduces Jafar or something in the
Kind of
movie?
seems like it, right? Is there?
Like
There
she had
is,
like a
right?
little red outfit and she was.
Maybe.
Ooh.
Oh, I kind of forgot about that. Also, I loved her shoes. Look at those. So
Mhm. Those are,
cool.
I love that cape, the stars and the moons.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I started to collect more of the like probably the collector's Barbies. This is one of my favorites because
Ooh.
it was so vintage looking. I know if her shoes are in here, I just saw them, but like One of the few I collected that have kind of that vintage look to them. That's clearly, oops,
That was
okay.
like that was like a reissue of one of the original
Mhm.
dolls, right?
Right.
Because the very
Yeah,
Barbie was that face, that hair with the black and white striped swimsuit. My sister,
yeah.
she had that one. She had that
Wow.
The original or the,
original. Yeah, my sister was born in
oh,
1970, so she had
okay.
real old Barbies.
I
That's so
love
cool.
the eye makeup on those
Yes.
vintage Barbies. It's so pretty. Cute,
Look
cute,
at
cute.
that. Beautiful. Wow, blast from the past. So those are my Barbies that I actually played with. And then I have two more that I found that I kept in boxes. So hang on.
Karen's mom is clear. Oh,
Bowling Barbie?
So
Oh,
this was
another
a bowling champ Barbie.
bowling chat Barbie.
Was I into bowling as a kid? I don't know. I mean, I did bowl, but it's not like I was super into bowling. I think I really liked the vintage look of this one, is what I was mostly attracted to. She does have an actual bowling ball, but clearly never took it out of the box, and it's all smashed, but still in the box. And then, do you all remember Paul Frank? I
Yes.
was really into
Wow.
Paul Frank. So when they came out with a Paul Frank, you see her pajamas with the Paul Frank
Oh
face,
my gosh.
right? And then, oh yeah, she has like a little Paul Frank
I had no idea.
bag. So this is another one that I was like clearly not going to take out of the box. But
so all those two, could you fund your bathroom remodel?
hmm, probably not. But I love where your mind is at. Yes.
Oh, I say take it out of the box and play with it.
But the boxes are so cool. I could put them back in the box, I guess. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna keep the other. I have one Barbie that's, well, a Barbie set that's in a box that I've not opened, but it is more something I've acquired as an adult, so I'm gonna hold on to that.
Mhm. Yeah, I have one
Uh,
Barbie. I have one Barbie in the box, and I will grab her.
Well, let's all go get
ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I have another one too. I'm gonna go grab it also.
Okay, go do it.
Yay! Oh, very nice. Oh,
So
that's cute.
I got this for Christmas. Chris got it for me for
Hey,
Christmas.
Chris, nice job.
Hmm.
I
And I
like
was like, I opened up, oh my God, it's awesome. And I said, you know, I'm taking it out of the box, right?
I
But
was
you
so
haven't
tempted
yet.
to get
I
the
haven't yet.
Michelle Yeoh one and just do a Giorgio doll out of it.
Yes.
Well, I have the what is it, the Vina doll that Mattel did for the 50th anniversary in 2016. It was, I think it was a Comic-Con exclusive. So my friend that back then she got it for me, but it's another green doll. So I love green girls.
Yes, is this the one that has the erroneous
It does.
website printed on
It
it?
does, yeah.
Tell us more.
I mean, I haven't looked, but yeah, I mean, everybody knows that it's got the, what is it, wicked.com printing on the little insert paper, which
Hmm.
unfortunately, or Mattel led directly to a porn site. Somebody really dropped on that. So yeah, I guess that means it's like extra special collectors, but I'm still gonna take it out of the box and play with it. I don't give a fuck.
You're an adult. You can do whatever the hell you want with your toys.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Next.
Okay,
Uh,
I got this shortly after Mulan came out, and it's, what does it say? Film premiere edition, and it has this
Ooh.
gorgeous panel that opens up. I fell in love because she was
Whoa.
wearing the emperor dress at the end of the movie. Wait, I don't even think that's a real. No, 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 no. It's a variation of that dress, but all the gold detailing and
It's
stallion.
beautiful.
I love it. And there's a cute little pop-up thing on the side here. So
Yeah.
I hemmed and hawed about keeping this throughout the years, but I'm glad I did. Just a beautiful little keepsake for me. So yeah, that's my Mulan.
And then this one, you guys are familiar. This is like the Sakura.
Oh, Is that an actual Mattel Barbie?
Yeah. Wait, I'm
Oh my
pretty.
gosh, I might need
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
So
it was for the
Barbie,
50th anniversary, right?
yeah, Barbie collectors. Guess it
Be-
was like an official collaboration Star Trek.
Wow.
Because the original Ken and Barbie set that they made for
Yeah.
Star Trek was like
Mhm.
Ken and Barbie dressed up in Star Trek. They didn't
Like
have,
person.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Actual characters.
which,
So
Mhm.
why
let me
would
just
you not
go.
have done that?
Love her. I love the earrings.
Which earrings does she have on?
She has the green hoop.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
I want that one. I think
okay.
I
Yeah.
remember if I
Desi, I
had
need to
one.
go find that on eBay.
Yeah.
Didn't they make an Orion one in that same
Yeah,
uh
that's the one I have.
So
oh,
Yeah.
she
okay.
has the Vina one. Yeah.
Got it. Oh, that's right. Got it.
But as soon as this dropped, got it immediately, and I love her.
I think I have it
Oh,
too. It's in storage. I'll make this
wow.
storage.
And
So,
she's gonna stay in here.
oh yeah.
You can
Yeah,
play
yeah.
with mine. I'm gonna take mine out of the box and you can play with
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
just don't lose the green earrings. Okay. That's
So
Yes.
here is the
The one.
original.
There it
Mhm.
is.
Yes, Ken, and this is also old because the rubber bands are falling apart, but um yeah, you can see, let's see. Can you see that little like it's hanging by a thread, but there's a phaser in
Oh
there
yeah.
and you can't really see it, but he has a communicator in his hand and oh, it's all like falling apart right now, but she has a tricorder right here and some very pretty gold hoops. But yes, these are not actual characters, which is kind of disappointing. I don't think they thought little girls would care about that, which I'm sure if they'd actually made her Uhura, this would have probably been,
Yeah.
you know, way more of a collector's item. But I'm so glad I have it. But the only Uhura doll I truly do have at this point, and I want this to change it because she's my favorite TOS character, is this Migo. Or wait, is it Migo?
What year is
Yeah.
that?
This was a remake, I want to say 2018. Yeah,
Okay.
so this was like intended to look vintage, but not truly vintage. And I
Gotcha.
don't remember where we got this, but maybe at one of the conventions.
Well, I'm gonna join the Uhura Love, show off
Yeah.
the Kotobukiya
I kept going
Uhura.
back and forth on getting that. She's so
It's so
pretty.
cute. I love that the stand is the
Is the
transporter pad.
transporter.
Yes, and she's got this cute expressions holding her little communicator thing, and it comes with teeny weeny tribbles
Aw.
What?
that you can just stick on the floor there with her. It's super
Oh,
cute.
that's so cool.
Gorgeous. So I have this one and the
You have the
squat
blue,
version.
you have the blue one?
I do want to see it.
Yes, I do.
All right. So here is the spot girly.
Oh,
Mhm.
Super cute. Little ears.
I love the
There.
tricorder.
Saw those at
And
Comic-Con last year. I was like, oh, those
oh
ears are
yeah, that's right. So cuties.
very cute.
Ooh.
Yeah,
And
I'm
you
probably gonna
get
have to get those.
Same.
Yeah, I think this year in like August they're making the Command, the Kirk girl version. So I've
Mm,
already got that pre-ordered and I can't wait. So yeah. I just love
nice.
that they have her little curls there too.
I
Oh,
know.
great
Yeah,
sculpt.
and the little communicator. Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. One of the other things that I collected to change the gear a little bit from Barbies, although wait, hang on, before we leave the Barbie content, I did have a Barbie mansion. I was trying to find pictures of it online that matched my memory, which clearly I don't have it anymore. But I want to say most of it was made of cardboard. Like it wasn't real plastic walls. It was cardboard walls with like some structure that was plastic.
Like dividers.
Um, I was looking at those, and then Jared was looking at my computer, and he's like, "Oh, my sister had a Barbie mansion, and it had a working elevator in it."
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? And then we
Yes.
found some pictures of that too. And he was saying how it did, I don't think it came with the house. It was like something you had to buy separately, but it came with a little washer and dryer. And the washer, they were both front loaders, and the washer had like liquid inside the door, and you could like press a button and it would look like there was water going in. And I still can't remember whether I actually had a camper van or not. I asked my mom, and she's like, I don't know, probably. But the more I found pictures of it, I do remember like the back of it kind of like went out like this, and you could you like fold it out and there's like a table and a bed inside. I have such vivid memories. I must have owned it and I don't have it anymore. But Lean, you had a camper or you wanted a camper
Yeah.
van.
I had one, not that version that you're talking about that opened up, but it was like a minivan type of thing. And because that was like the only Barbie vehicle I ever owned, camper vans were my favorite vehicle for the longest time. I'm like, oh, dream car, camper van. Because it had all, little stove and little lounger in the back. I was like, what? This is the ultimate car. So
That's
I
basically
played
why
with
the
that. Yeah.
VW bus is my favorite for that specific reason. Like I had a little couch, like I dreamed of having a couch, a little bed for the just like the camper.
Well, so I think it's interesting because I've always really wanted a camper van or like an Airstream or something. And I wonder how many of us, like in our generations, grew up with those toys, right? And that somehow sparked this permanent desire to have a camper van or a trailer of some kind. And that's like a thing now, right? Like people would spend thousands of dollars customizing these camper vans. Um, how much of that was started with a Barbie camper van? I don't know, right? I think my pink Barbie Corvette, which I pined over for years and eventually got, and I swear I thought I had it and I can't find it in the garage, but I think that might have started my obsession with cars a little bit because I ended up moving into actually collecting model cars. I have two full boxes of model cars. These are the ones that weren't wrapped up in newspaper, so I just pulled these out. But I collected these probably in high school, maybe like middle school, high school. But I loved the fact that, they had doors that opened and they had
I
like the
can't
steering
tell.
wheel.
Is the interior, is that like fabric or is it plastic?
It's just
Okay.
plastic. It'd be
That
so
would be
cool if it was actual
perfect for
fabric.
my guinea pig. I had small guinea
Yes,
pigs.
this would be perfect for a guinea pig. Yeah.
These teeth would have been like so cool in that.
Like I just thought
That
they
was
were, and I loved like muscle cars. That was one of my favorite. I collected so many muscle cars, and I collected Hot Wheels, but I was more into the bigger model cars. My sister-in-law couldn't make it, but she sent me a really awesome list of things that she collected and had as a kid. So I wanted to read some of these and see if they strike a chord with any of you. She had Charmkins when she was little. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Okay. She said they were tiny plastic dolls that were made to be part of jewelry. And she says she still has a bunch of them. And one of the most horrifying things is they had this flowery perfume smell. And after almost 40 years, they still have this flowery smell. So she's concerned about the chemicals that were they were dipped in.
It's like the
That is kind of
McDonald's burger that never rots.
Yeah.
yes, that is kind of what it's like.
I just Googled
Um,
it, yes, and I remember them. I don't think I ever had any, but they were super cute.
she had Sylvanian families, a huge Sylvanian families collection, tiny animal family dolls.
Yeah.
They came with tinier furniture and household items. Um, she was like, they're truly a child safety nightmare because they had so many tiny swallowable pieces. But apparently they still sell them. So the brand is still around. And oh, she was a huge Rainbow Bright fan. I loved Rainbow Bright too. Um, and she was also really into She-Ra as opposed to He-Ra, I think. Um, she's still I wanted to say these dolls more than anything else. Okay, so yes, this is a really important point, and I kind of wanted to talk about this with you all. Is she felt like both Rainbow Bright and She-Ra, and I would say maybe like Gem and the Holograms as well, provided her with a vision of strong women able to save and rescue others. And so that concept of not just sitting around like Barbie in her mansion and more like action, like they were action figures, but they were women, right? Um, although she did have Barbie. And so she said she never gravitated towards them in the same way as Rainbow Bright and She-Ra, but there was something about, yeah, because there was something about the badass imagery of a strong woman wielding rainbows and swords, swords of light that resonated with her. They made her want to be a warrior too, and not a doormat dressed in pink. So she still loves rainbows, and probably some of that is because of Rainbow Bright. And yeah, so I wanted to get your take on kind of that idea of, we've talked a little bit about it with the Barbies, but like just because we were girls doesn't mean that we only had girl dolls, right? Like me and my cars, I think was a good example. And Legos, I loved playing with Legos. I had one of those red bins that like looked like a Lego on top and had a handle. And
Yeah, same
it
here. I was obsessed with Legos as a kid, just constantly
I kind of
building
still am.
skyscrapers and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it.
Desi, yes, did you have Legos growing up?
I did big
Oh,
time. And I'm sure my mom was annoyed because I loved like getting new Legos. And she'd constantly get us new Legos and they were everywhere. But and we had that tons of those buckets as well
Hmm.
that look like the Lego on top, like you mentioned. Um,
Hmm.
I remember having also a Conan the Barbarian doll because I liked Conan the Barbarian. Um, I remember watching the cartoon too. So yeah, I like adventure. I guess the wrestling it didn't have any. I can't remember. Yeah, there were no wrestling female girl dolls that I can recall having. It was definitely I
Hmm.
had boy dolls. So that was like yeah,
That wasn't
disappointing.
a thing yet.
Yeah,
Women in
that
wrestling
was
wasn't a thing.
I think it was, but I can't recall. Now this makes me want to look it up. Like, were there any
Um,
wrestling action figure women or girl, yeah, women dolls? I can't
Hmm.
recall.
I did not have Lego. I don't know why. Maybe they were too expensive. I don't know, but I don't think I really do not remember ever saying, "Oh, I want that." So maybe that's why,
Hmm.
because I never asked for it. It just never I don't know. I'd build furniture out of for my Smurfs out of like styrofoam pieces and cardboard boxes and a lot of tape. Like I'd
Hmm.
build my things. Um, but back to your point about like the action dolls, like female form action dolls, I think that also probably tapped into the fact that in the 80s, um, there were a lot more single moms and a lot more working moms, and maybe whether it was conscious or not, that market opened up to the power of their consumer dollars because they were doing two full-time jobs, working outside the home and then having to come and work inside the home as well. So I think that maybe that had something to do with that whole bloom of like toys geared towards little girls that were in the form of adult women that were powerful in one way or another, or working women. So um not to like ascribe too much to the feminist movement, but I think that, yeah, I think that it had something to do with that big huge shift in society, because that was the onset of latchkey kids. That was when, obviously there were always working women, but not to the extent that there were in the late 70s and 80s. So I think maybe that's why we started to see more of that in both the consumer goods and also on TV, what we would watch. So I
Yeah.
did love Shira a lot. I did have one little Shira doll. And the other thing that I forgot to mention is a lot of my toys were either hand-me-downs from my sister or hand-me-downs from other kids, because we all grew up a little bit poor. So I think a lot of the toys I had were also secondhand. Like I don't really remember going to the thrift shop to buy toys, but I do remember like an aunt or someone, a friend of the family, going, "Oh, hey, my kid doesn't want these anymore. Do you want any?" And I remember that's how I came upon most of my Hot Wheels collection, was just Hot Wheels from little boys in the neighborhood or building, or from other boys. So a lot of my toys were, hand-me-downs, and I was okay with that. So
Yeah, that makes sense. So I was actually gonna ask, yes, you didn't have any brothers growing up, so anything, right?
not really, but sort of. So I had four, I call them god brothers. They were my
Okay.
sister's godparents' boys, and we always considered them brothers. So, but because of the age gap, like my sister was the baby of that set because they were all much older than her. So again, like a lot of the Hot Wheels that we had were theirs
Right.
too.
And
So yeah,
then,
it's mostly me growing up was mostly very much surrounded by women.
yeah. And then Lean and Desi, did you have brothers or cousins growing up that were like maybe impacting the sort of boy branded toys that you played with?
Yeah, definitely. My older brothers were way into Star Trek and a cartoon called Macross Robotech in the 80s. So that influenced me because I fell in love and I still love like Valkyries. So hold up, let me grab this. So this is from a cartoon called Macross Plus. It's a VF-11B Valkyrie, and I kind of like want more of these. They're like they transform.
They look like a transformer, yeah.
Yeah, they're big. Yeah, pretty much. So
Oh, cool.
I totally want more of these. This one was my brother's, and now it's mine. So yeah, I kind of want to seek more of these out. It's Macross,
Yeah.
one of my favorite cartoons, and I think it's geared more towards guys. But for me, it's just, one of my favorites. And these two girls, these dolls are from the same series as well. So, yeah. So that's my influence from them.
Mine's was a female single mom and a younger sister. So that was so latchkey kid, lots of TV. So um, I guess my influencers were like, I don't mean like a lot of commercials and like pining for uh it wasn't specifically desiring girl toys. It was just toys that I thought were like, you know, like that just appealed to me. So like I think Lean mentioned the theme song to Crossfire. That song is still like burned into my head. You get caught up in love. So I remember, like I really, really wanted that. I remember.
Crossfire. Crossfire. You get caught up in the
So yeah, it was
crossfire.
just a mix of girls and boys toys that I like just had a desire for. My collection didn't really just gear toward one or the other. Yeah.
Well, so I was going to say I'm an only child. So I am really interested in the concept of like being influenced by siblings and the toys they had or handed down to you. All of my cousins lived further away, so it's not like I spent a lot of time with them. Um, I am very close in age to a male cousin of mine, but we didn't really, I don't remember us playing with toys a whole lot. I remember us playing video games a lot, and I think he definitely influenced my interest in video games, but um yeah, I don't know where I think my mom probably had a lot of influence. Again, single mom trying to work and also, parent at the same time and limited budget. And, my dad, I spent time with my dad too, but he didn't like spending money on toys. So he wasn't really the person buying toys for me. It was usually my mom. And so I think that really influenced what I ended up with because she ultimately got to say. And then my grandpa, my mom's dad, is who would buy the model cars for me. And he would send me these like catalogs that were full of that's all you bought from them was model cars. And he'd be like, pick two. And I could circle them and send them back to him in the mail. And then I would have these model cars show up in the mail. So my grandpa was really influential, I think, in um, I guess maybe more of the male type toys that I had. Um, and I was looking at Polly Pockets online last night as well, trying to find some pictures of the Polly Pockets I had, and I can't find any of them. I must have given them away or they're stored away somewhere. But Jared was like, "Oh yeah, there was a boy version of Polly Pockets called Mighty Max," and
I remember
I
that.
totally forgot about that. And it's like, it's
I
funny because like Polly Pocket was like, in a little house or whatever, and then Mighty Max is like a skull with like worms coming out of it and like totally the same thing. It's just like, oh, I love little mini things. That's really what it comes down to. And like the Polly Pocket I want now is the Office because Mattel has made an Office version. Like I'm seriously considering buying it because both Jared and I are huge Office fans. And it's again not gendered. It's like you love the show. Let's get a Polly Pocket version of it.
That's like, but clearly made, it's like made for adults though, because I don't think there's any little kids like, I want to play Dwight or
It's
whatever.
true.
Yeah, it's very interesting the trend of like things based on like your favorite TV show or movies. Like Lena and I were noticing the Lego set for Twilight. Like you could build the Twilight house.
Yeah.
And so yeah, just interesting to see like what's a way to get our generation back with these toys nostalgically. Oh, let's like bring in their favorite movie or their favorite TV show.
Fisher Price has so many, like they have The Office, they have the Star Trek
Oh,
set.
yeah, like the little mini people.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're little people, but they're like the fat plastic little people of now.
Yeah.
I miss the little people of like back in the 60s and 70s when they were little wooden and then they ended up being plastic, but they were like little peg people with
Yes.
all little heads, round heads. I love those. And I am always on the hunt for either the baby or the little nurse one because I had those and those are my favorite little, I love those little guys. But I would call those pelones, which means bald in Spanish, because they didn't have hair. So we
Yeah.
always pelones. We didn't call them little people. We call them the pelones. So
Is that what the Littles were by Mattel, or is that
oh
something
no,
different?
that's something different. Oh, I forgot about the littles. The littles were little tiny dolls, like little tiny, like almost toothpick little limbs, but big heads. And the heads had like real hair. It had like, like obviously not real human hair, but it had hair that you could like, move around a little bit. But what was funny is that these little tiny twiggy type dolls were so small, and the furniture that came with them were metal. And they were all kind of old timey. They were about like turn of that century. They were like 1900 era kind of clothes and furniture. But those were sold in like furniture sets, like the living room, the bathroom, and I had all of them, all of them. And then that one particular Valentine's Day, my mom always got us little like Valentine's Day gifts. But what the one time that really stuck in my mind is I got home from school and she had had already gone to work, but she left out my sisters and my gifts. And I don't remember what my sister got, some teenage thing, some boring teenage thing. But I got some of the little peoples and they were so cute. And I just remember like the elation, like so happy, like not just because, oh, yay, I got a new toy or whatever, but because that was the first time that I think that I really remember thinking, wow, my mom really paid attention to what I like. And like, she got it for me and she didn't have to because Valentine's Day is not Christmas. But my mom was just very, she was like that. She'd always give us something for Valentine's Day to show us that she loved us and thought about us. But
My
yeah.
mom was the same way. We always
Yeah,
got
mine too.
we got Easter baskets very, very late, as in like like high school, where she was still getting us Easter baskets.
I
So
still get Easter baskets and Valentine gifts and Halloween gifts.
No.
Back to the cars really fast. I wanted to bring up the Rockin' Roadster of Gem. Lean, I'm pretty sure you really wanted a Rockin' Roadster and
I
you never got one.
do. It was so cool because it had a little radio in it in the trunk of the car. Like, I don't know if you can see behind the dolls here. That's I forgot what it's called. It's their stage that they perform on. And I think you can stick the cassette tapes that the dolls came with in that. So like you could hook up like all the gem stages or their dressing room and like pretty much have like a sound system. So the car
Oh.
was really cool because it had a little FM radio on the back.
Hmm.
So it's gorgeous. I still pine for it. I never bit the bullet to get it. So yeah, that's still on my list.
Pew 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 pew.
Yeah, I mean, you look fine.
okay. Like you all were, it was that episode of TNG where everyone was frozen in time, but I was fine, timescape.
Just
Like that's what was happening just now.
No, okay, you need to go upstairs. All right, nope, you can't be around any of these things. All right, he cannot be downstairs with me. He thinks they're all his toys.